My name is Referendum Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. Now, we would have done a series at all with Robert Amar, in which he would have dissect this thing that we call referendum and shown its workable application as to where this society and moving forward, how it could affect us and how it could adversely affect the future of Trinidad and Tobago. So I suggest you should put on your seatbelt and strap up and go into this discussion with us, so we could actually bring forward this thought to you, something that the politicians would never tell you, something that somebody who's angling for power on a dictatorial level will be in totally disagreement with. So stay tuned. Now this is actually the second half of it. What we are going to do is, after the video, we are going to, all I have to do is press the link on the screen. After the video, after this, when this is completed, and you will see from part 1 to now actually where you see it in front of you. My name is Referendum Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. Like, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned and be a part of this informative journey with us.
Asking over what period of time? Is that a 1 year? Is that a 4 year? Is that a 10 year? Is that a 20 year? I don't know. It was never publicized and the media people never asked. But imagine you spend 800 million, and in that 800 million you spend, you didn't think about putting in technology to help the custom officers. But Watson, you gotta take some licks on that. I want to believe they're happy to leave it the way it is, because it works for them. And we come back full 360. $90 million for scanners, 8 years after you get to the government. What the hell? In the first year you didn't know we have a problem with arms and ammunition coming in the country? Okay, you didn't know. The second year, you was too busy with it. Third year, oh no, forget that. Fourth year, fifth year COVID, okay. Sixth year COVID, alright, no problem. Seventh year, come in the 8th year now just to tell me you're going to spend 19 million. I just pull it up on my system. British companies that supply the equipment, not even close to that price. You're telling me, who get the contract for that?
It's not even so close to the 90 million that the proposal go cost. Well, with the equipment.
Let me just go a step further. At least the worst part. The United States government spent $800 million US plus in the Caribbean. Up to now, the ambassador for Trinidad has not responded to my letter, asking over what period of time. Is that a 1 year? Is that a 4 year? Is that a 10 year? Is that a 20 year? I don't know. It was never publicized and the media people never asked. But imagine you spend 800 million, and in that 800 million you spend, you didn't think about putting in technology to help the custom officers. But Watson, you gotta take some licks on that. Stupid imbecile. Because basically he's the one, as the public service in them days, went and say, hey, this kind of scanner dangerous for the people, I go affect them, they'll get cancer. But they're using scanner all over the world. I suppose Trinidad and Tobago citizens are special. We have such skin that is so light and thin that even if you take a digital phone and pass it over your hand, you'll get cancer.
But the normal cell phone that everybody have, I mean, it had the potential to give that cancer that they're talking about.
Everything is possible with technology because nobody has put all the pieces together. Slowly but surely we find out. Look how long it took us to find out that pandemic was a fake. Now, everybody can say what they want to say, but everybody's in trouble. And Israel was the leader, 90-something% of them people get triple vaccinated, But you can understand why. Israel and America.
Yeah.
You understand? You could understand the whole rationale. You do for me, I do for you. Listen, I can't lecture anybody. You have freedom of choice. You're supposed to be able to have a choice in your body. Nobody can dictate to you what to do, not even Tedros. And if the world have to go down where people have to die because of a pandemic, well, okay, all you could hope is that science step in, but it has to be proven science. It can't be concocted science at the whimsical position of a man, Bill Gates. Because Gavi is a problem. We don't know what the hell happened to that, but now Bill Gates just come on the scene. Well, we could save children's lives now, before they die, because you only have these 5 or 6 things you need. And one big video going around the world right now with Bill Gates talking about saving children's life. Well, that is just what you call a fly in the ointment. Now to put that in your face, to make it seem as if though he's the white savior, and I don't mean it in a bad way. Bill Gates is no savior. Bill Gates is a businessman. He's just like Donald Trump. He studied the bottom line. The amount of money he have, he should have fixed plenty places in Africa already.
But he never did.
He went with lip service. And he making so much money every single year because of proprietary intellectual property. And that he don't do nothing again. 5 million Microsoft software at X dollars for renewal of the license, and we are talking million, we said billion.
Well, I want to come back to the part I refer a question I want to ask. Let me say, we do get through this referendum thing. Who are the right to call or to initiate a referendum? Who are the right?
Right. So the way I see it is that numbers. We're not going to be able to get the politicians to act on it if we only get 25,000 people. We get 500,000 people to sign on. That tells the politician, hear what? We really believe this issue about referendum in the Constitution is an important move for the people to have a say. They'll be left with no choice because it will be authentic. It will be a document that will be audited by independent authorities. And we then write the 41 politicians calling on them to introduce referendum into the Constitution.
A question and conflict that people have with the referendum. They're saying does it not have similarities with the no confidence thing, that if you have thing with no confidence in a politician, they could sign something?
No. The difference between a politician and no confidence, again, there is nothing in the Constitution that gives you rights to recall. There are certain parts of the world where there are recall legislation. It's in the law. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have none. Politicians don't want to put that in the law. I want to put that in the law to shoot myself in the foot. I want to be happy to know that I could do any wrong, Darrell Smith, who ended up with the woman, and according to what Anil Roberts say, the Prime Minister, who ended up with another woman, that he is purporting, I don't know. I can't say whether it's true or lie.
But Anil Roberts say that.
But Anil Roberts tell the whole country and they have done nothing to him. They have not brought him up before the courts. They have not sued him for defamation. That the Prime Minister had a relationship with a woman and she has twins. Okay, it's easy to find out that. If Keith thinks that is not so, take a DNA test. Take a paternity test. Prove to your wife, your children, the country, everybody. If somebody come to me today and say, Amar, I have a child for your boy. I say, okay, there we go. Paternity test, if that's my child, why running away from? But we know that the Prime Minister ran away from his first child.
Right.
God had him.
Right.
So we see that there is a kind of concoction in behavior.
Right.
It may be a similar thing that he is not in a position to want to do that. Because he will be embarrassed. It's like Bill Clinton getting caught with Monica Lewinsky.
With the DNA, catching DNA.
Can't get away. This is why we have all of these tests now. Now, if you're the Prime Minister of the country and you hear a man telling you red couch, you're a passador, but up to today nothing happened. Then we seriously have some issues. I mean, like Lennox Smith, who has been really fighting the battle with regards to this issue of predator from a school teacher. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not. And dates don't lie. Under the age of 18 is non-consensual.
It's not consensual.
Even if the person said, I love you, Go ahead, take the whole, what the Calypsonian say? You have the whole market. I mean,
if you're looking for sweetness in a basket.
I had the whole market.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, what? I not fix it, but I don't give you the right to break the law. And you have to pay the price. Because that is one of the things you have sworn to when you took the oath of office. And it reminds me of him banning me also. I mean, at the end of the day, I get my international press pass, you know.
You get the ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I'm international, and I send it to him.
Right.
And I'm waiting now for feedback. But they're such cowards. He will not want me still to be there because he know very well I come prepared.
So you get international press pass.
I'm international press pass now. I could go anywhere in the world.
So I'm asking something, so you wasn't getting it locally?
No, the systems, the people in Trinidad and Tobago are failures. The people called MAT, Media Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and the Publishers and Broadcasters Association, they are what you call suck-up people. They really only just have institutional recordings, but they have no teeth. They can't do nothing for nobody. They can't do for themselves. And the Minister of Communication did reach out to them and say, oh, they fix the system. Issue press passes to people so that they are bona fide. But nearly a year has gone and they haven't taken any initiative to do anything. So what does that tell you? That is like a man who living next door that know that the man that living next door beating up the woman and will not even take the initiative to pick up the phone and call the police. Not that it will help. Because sometimes the police is still wrong and say, you know, she wasn't like that, you know. So we're calling and complaining to me for. She ain't complain. Who is you? You the neighbor? We're telling me that for? Don't tell me that. I'm not interested. We can't get involved in that. That's the kind of attitude we have in the system. And worse is that the Chief Justice no. Because he is telling the country some time ago the amount of them cases it have. He worried about the domestic violence cases. And it's not to say they're not aware of the murders, right? They're fully aware.
One more question. Don't feel like grilling here.
No,
I want to know what you think about this rise in the electricity that they have here that they impose on the citizen.
I kind of at a loss with that because, to be honest, what transpired before is that we had a situation in which the RIC had gone to a program and the RIC was operating in trying to sustain and get information. I put forward about 40 questions. I got some answers. But the basic answer that I am still missing is how much of the electricity that is being generated in Trinidad and Tobago is paid for but not used. We have a system in Trinidad and Tobago that I am aware of. Whether it is still functioning or not, I cannot tell you. It is called pay. Whether you use it or not, you have to pay for it. Take or pay is how they call it. It's the same thing applies to water with the desalination plant. Now, my view on the electricity is that we have seen significant numbers purported being owed to NGC, National Gas. And we have seen in the documents as published by the state of monies they have allocated to various ministries to pay the electricity bill. But we still hear that ministries owing money for electricity.
Now you raise something that could be sounding like a conspiracy. The money was allocated to these ministries.
Budgeted
to pay the electricity. Are it not paid?
We don't know.
In some
cases. You see, if the government is serious about providing empirical data, in the document, and I wish I had it to show you, it clearly identifies a document number, like 01. Because for accounting purposes, you have to be able to put this thing on a spreadsheet and see how much the electricity is going to cost the country through the various organizations for the year, for everybody. You can't go through like me, like an old-time Chinese shopkeeper, line 1 plus the line 1, it's computerized. We do not know what is the total electrification costs for this country's public service. Regiment, Coast Guard, teachers, schools, whatever it is. But it's in the document. And it means to say that they would know how much is paid. In every business, you have accounts receivable and you have accounts payable. TNTech is no different. TNTech will be able to subset that as this is the government's expense for electricity, including street lighting, and put a number of dollars that they paid for the last 20 years. What was allocated, what was paid. What was allocated, what was paid. So they might have allocated 250,000. Now bear in mind, these are more accurate numbers because in the budgetary document, at the beginning it could have been a budget line item. But as you get down with the history, it becomes a practical number. So it means to say that in the future years, you would have known how much electricity the Ministry of Works had used in the building. Because it's already registered. So you're not asking for $245,000 of electricity when the electricity bill is $170. Your electricity bill more or less stays within the profile of whatever it is. In your own house. If you're accustomed burning 800 for every 2 months, more or less that will be the number. Except in Christmas time when you put on a few lights, they're going up to 9.
Yeah.
But you will be able to predict that long in advance because those numbers are fixed numbers. The government has those numbers, but the government is telling us that they're still owing NGC so much money. Well, I don't understand how the numbers has worked. I don't understand how the electricity, how TNTech does operate. I don't know what they're doing with regards to gas. I don't know the price transfer between the gas price for Trinidad and Tobago electricity versus the price for Macal. Macal have a gas line going in, they might pay $1. TNTech might have to pay 40 cents. I don't know because that's a domestic transfer. And that transfer pricing nobody knows. So we're not in a position to really make any kind of sensible contribution. What I can say to you is the government has not advised us what is going to be the subvention for electricity after the rates go up. Imagine you still carrying up the rates. It's like gas, petroleum for your car. They're still telling you that they're giving you a subvention that they have to pay to NP for it or to whoever. How do they calculate that? We have X amount of cars on the road and they know how much gallon of gas we use. They know how much just pay for the gas. They know how much just sell it. They know the shortfall. You understand? And where is the airlines getting a benefit from the gas? I don't know. You understand? Is the government getting some kind of special dispensation for the gas? I don't know. Nobody knows the whole arithmetic. It's like Keith Rowley telling the country, here what? I went and negotiated the gas price. And then come back after and say, I don't negotiate gas prices. That is somebody negotiated. But make up your mind. And if you negotiated the gas price based on the number of however, gallons or whatever, CFM, or whatever they call it, the quantum, however you measure it, 100 gallons. If you went and negotiate the price, you must know what the revenue will be.
Yeah.
So how the hell you can make how we can understand where we are? It's either we have novices that are doing the job and permanent secretaries look like if they're novices because they don't seem to understand, or the government just is wasting time, fooling the people. I really do not know which one it is, but I think the people at Trinidad and Tobago ought to be concerned. Just like the people at Guyana started to get concerned, Trinbagonians better start getting concerned because we're heading down a slippery slope and they're pouring more and more water on it. And you know what has happened when you're trying to climb up a slippery slope with water coming down? You're going further down. And that's where Trinidad and Tobago is heading right now. It's unfortunate, but I'm one voice in the wilderness, hoping that you, the people outside there, take cognizance of the fact that if we get referendum into the Constitution by you voting for referendum in sufficient numbers, and that sufficient is 500,000. Anything less than that really is making no sense. And I don't believe that we can find 500,000 people in this country to support it. But with that number, we now could go and we could get fixed date election. We could get a view on whether proportional representation will be the renewed mechanism for appointment of people to run the country versus past the post system. We will get recall, because now you could recall a man, whether it's Kennedy or whoever, you could get to the point of saying, hey, you are doing the work. And the people in the constituency get together and decide it's time for you to move on. Right now, the only way for him to move on, he has to die a natural death. He has to be found doing something wrong that gets him into the bad books, or he has to be caught in some kind of underhand business where he does not represent the oath of office. And still, it's going to be a real cancalang like we see happening in Tobago, where Farley end up with a tape suggesting some kind of dishonest move, and everything's still the same way.
Yeah.
So it may really, or like Farley pointing out, here what? I find this discrepancy in the road program of so much millions of dollars, and instead of we get action, Farley says, I've been advised that I must tread on this carefully. So where are we going?
Let me bring up one more issue with the issue with Foster comments and the revelation from Jan D.
Well, you know, when you sit down and you look at that, as I mentioned, I think to Jan T in a post I sent to her, it's no different than the zip line in Tobago. It's either it's right or it's wrong. Either you pay for the zip line and you didn't get it, or you didn't pay for it and you didn't get it. And at that stage, Jayanti came forward. Now, here's what worries me with Jayanti. I like Jayanti too bad. I find she's be one of the most recognized persons for empirical data. Meaning when she speaks, she doesn't speak loosely. She speaks because she has some kind of fact base. And politicians have to become fact-based if they want to see difference in the operative of Trinidad and Tobago. My concern is that there is a deed, and the deed is what you call the thread of where the land started. No matter where you have, what land you buy, it has a starting point. When lawyers go back, I think they'll go back 30 years, 35 years to trace back the history of it, to make sure all the things that happen from there come back, it's right. They're talking about his land with Foster Cummins, and he is saying that he bought it. But who did he buy it from? And the question is, what did he pay for it? And where was the valuation? And who did the valuation? And what stamp duty did he pay? It's no different than Keith Rowley and the property in Tobago, where he said he paid 1.5, but I think the selling price was 1.8. And he said he paid the right stamp duty, at least so I am being advised. I didn't spend my time to go to find it. If he did, well, I'm happy. But stamp duty is paid on value. It's not paid on perceived. So if he paid 1.5 million, he would have paid stamp duty on 1.5. He cannot pay stamp duty on 1.8. Unless the deed says 1.8. And I would believe the opposition had the ability, based on all their lawyers and everybody, to go in and find these things for both Foster Cummins and for this Keith Rowley situation. But it looks as if those partners. So it's a set of talk, like DSS, where they find all this money and they say, Prime Minister come to the table, and what he say? Well, this is a serious matter, you know. This matter is a threat to the national security. So we'll be calling in people from Scotland Yard because we have a relationship with them. And as we speak right now, we have 2 officers coming from Barbados to investigate the matter. Where the investigation reward? We have seen that from the Barbadians. Or we know that Brent Thomas get deported from Barbados surreptitiously. They take him and put him on a plane and bring him back home to Trinidad without proper regulations and rules. And up to today, the Bajan government, they tell me nothing, and Keith Rowley just gone quiet because he don't want to open back that can. And all of these are the issues we have to work with, my friend. So the issue of Foster Cummins is a solvable issue. He now appealing to the country saying he wants to clean in. But it have issues with the credit union down the road, where they show proprietary information of money's being paid.
Yeah, money's being paid.
And not going into the company's account. And if I go to the bank with a check in the company name, I can't put it in my personal name, I'll put the company name. Because it's called commingling of funds, which is against the law. But certain people have certain rights.
Clearly see it.
And other people just don't have the same rights like certain people. So, unless the people of Trinidad and Tobago don't draw a line, and that line is referendum, you gotta make a decision on what side of history you want to be on. You want to be on the side of history where you change your country for the betterment of your people, or your children, or your family, or your future, or you want to be on the side of history that says, I followed and toed the line of the politician, and although I am aware that they're doing stupidness, we love you cause we are the PNM, only the PNM gives the care. Anyhow.
Well, thank you, whatever. Thank you, whatever.
I don't know. I don't know if this will do anything, but I hope it does reach the people, and if it reaches them, I hope their whole disposition, concern, and care about this great country we live in changes. We got to become Trinbagonians first. We can't be Indians and Africans. We can't continue going down the road seeing yourself as a black man and calling yourself a Negro, and seeing yourself as a Indian, a brown skinned man with straight hair and calling yourself an Indian. I mean, the passport is Trinidad and Tobago. It's difficult to tell yourself, I'm a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. That's what we should be saying. But I think we have coined the word Trinbagonia. And I believe that that's what we should be calling ourselves. Because unless we do not unify ourselves as a body, as a citizen of a particular country, and stop this idea about Africa and India, because that don't work. That is the politicians' role, to continue to keep and destroy the fabric of unification of a great people who deserve better, but does not appreciate and understand the strength they have, because they fail to take the action necessary to give them that power. And let me end by saying that power is referendum. You get referendum, you will see how much better you will do. You can't do no worse. You can't do no worse. Because at this stage you're doing nothing. This could only put you in a position to give you a power that you deserve, but you fail to demand. And if that happens, we go on, we'll see some changes in the country. If it doesn't happen, hey, you grow accustomed to abuse so much that even when you abuse, you don't really worry. You know, it's like the woman coming home to the husband and know that she'll get her ass cut. And from the time she hit the door, she doesn't set up herself already. I'm going to get cut ass today. That's exactly what it is.
You give up.
I ain't not giving up. And I hope the people at Trinidad and Tobago give up. If you give up, that's the choice you have taken. The choices are there for you to take. Make sure you make the right one. And I call on you, the people at Trinidad and Tobago, join the referendum movement. Let's get the politicians to start to do their work. Forget who they are. Once the system's right, the results will be right. Once the system's wrong, the results will always be political. And they love wrong systems because they can always influence with political BS. That's just the way the system is. And it's not unique to Trinidad and Tobago. That's a worldwide phenomenon. Even in the most developed countries in the world. Same stupidness. But we should be leading the world by showing them how great it is to live together. If we were doing that, we could have possibly sent a sample of this to the Middle East and Italy and Israel and Gaza and Palestine would possibly get a picture. And they say, well, if then people can live together, well, yeah, we can live together too. But we don't have even that thread to spread, except carnival time, when you can see it really working. But no matter who you are at carnival, white, brown, black, yellow, cream, salmon, orange, short, curly, long, flat, well, I don't make a difference. We're all in this together. We jamming still, like the boys say. The city could burn down. We jamming still. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ah boy, now we are back. I'm sure you would have seen things there that you would have never heard before. I'm sure you would have understand things there, and he was, just a little skeptical now at, what the powers that be have been hiding from you. Now, what we are asking you for today is to just subscribe to the channel. Be a part of this fastest growing movement, this workers' rights movement. Trust what I'm telling you, there's a time that will come, you will see the need for this. Biasness have its limitation. And when you fall out of favor with the king, this type of system that we are proposing will bypass all of that. You don't have to fall out of no favor with no king here. Your destiny will be yours and yours alone to direct. So we urge you to consider the thought of referendum. Do a little research in your spare time. Ask a question, pitch it to a friend, a family. Instead of choosing who we want to represent us, at this point in time, we have a choice to choose what we want instead of who we want to represent us. That is the tagline with this thing that I call referendum. And that is the reason why I support this. So I urge you, contact me. My number is 333-2176. And we will send you a link directly for you, in which you could sign up for this thing that we call referendum. Not we call it there, but referendum should be in print within our constitution. We have seen politics for what it is. And trust me, it can't get worse than this. But who don't want to listen? Who don't want to hear, according to the old people, who don't want to hear us feel? And when no good can be done, let the worst continue. But you could change that. You could change that for your children's future, for your family, a friend, a loved one. Don't be like the Levi that would have passed the person in the desert. Be that good Samaritan. Do something for change. And I will leave you with this closing comment. It was said, the man who planted a tree and knowing that he will not benefit from its shade is a man of great intelligence. My name is Renaissance Jeffrey. This is the Workers' Rights Platform. Thanks for listening.